Hey everybody, how's it going? Mike back again. Still catching up, almost caught up. Today is Wednesday, July 1st, and we're finally almost caught up. Today I am going to do May's Blu-ray pickups, and I only have 7, so this should be fairly quick. And then pretty soon, hopefully, I will record June's update. Now that June is finished, I have 16 titles in June, and there's a lot of good ones there. I've got almost a dozen, about 10 Scream Factories, including a few Roger Corman cult classics. But here we go with May. Couple animations to start out with. The one television show is South Park Season 17. I'm a big fan of South Park, as I've explained in the past, and now I am totally caught up. This is the newest season they've put out, and this is the first one that I bought on Blu-ray. I have 1 through 16 on DVD. So comes in this case here. You open it up, and usually they're on 2 DVDs, but since Blu-rays hold more, they're on 2 Blu-rays with the episodes listed on either flap there. And this is the most recent season. It's got the usual mini commentaries for the first like 3, 4, 5 minutes of each episode by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and some deleted scenes. It's in 5.1 Dolby and 1080p on the Blu-ray. Episodes are from 2013, and it's 220 minutes. So that's season 17. Staying with that, I've had this on DVD for a while, finally upgraded to the Blu-ray. Found this on special on Amazon for $3.99. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, with the nice shiny slipcase there. And there's the back and the front, same either way. And this movie, the DVD had nothing on it. Blu-ray's much nicer. Nothing in there but this silly insert and the disc, but it does actually have a full-length commentary by the creators, Matt and Trey, the only full-length commentary I know of that they've done. And this I think they did after the 2nd season, if I'm not mistaken, something close to that anyway. Let's see, it is rated R, of course. Copyright 1999, so they did this after the 2nd or 3rd season. Hilarious. I remember going to the movies with 2 buddies of mine, and you got to remember, back in 1999, we didn't see. It's not like today where we see Family Guy and all these animated shows where the characters curse. So seeing these little, and this was like half a musical too. So having all these and years later, we saw the great job they did with the Book of Mormon. I'm certainly not much of a Broadway guy, but that was a funny as hell show. And you know, back in 1999, you just weren't used to seeing cartoon characters curse, and it wasn't just the cursing; it was actually funny. You know, the cursing served the humor; it wasn't cursing for the sake of cursing. And you know, to see these little 8 or 10-year-olds, whatever they are, 3rd graders, 4th graders, you know, singing these songs, you know, I mean, it was just, I even bought the soundtrack back then. I was so enamored with it. And, you know, in 1999, I was 22 years old. It wasn't like I was a little 13-year-old who giggling at everything, you know. I honestly found this stuff funny, and I still do. Of course, some of the humor is worn off over the years, but, you know, shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker. You're a cocksucking, you know, I mean, that's just, I mean, to see that on the big screen when you're used to everything getting bleeped and you're not used to seeing this kind of stuff at all. I mean, the entire, it was a packed theater, and my friends and I, along with the rest of the theater, were on the floor, almost literally. I mean, you know, I know the difference between literally and figuratively, but we were almost literally on the floor, you know, laughing so hard. I mean, I don't think I've laughed that hard at a movie since. Just for the, I mean, the only thing that probably came close was years later when I went to see Borat. I'm pretty jaded when it comes to humor, but this really made me laugh. Switching gears entirely with the remaining 5 titles, we have American Psycho. The great book by Bret Easton Ellis was made into this movie with Christian Bale. This is the uncut version. We see bare bones case, just an advertisement there, and the actual Blu-ray there. And there's the back cover. This was a great... I took a class in college. It was an English class, but it was horror and literature and film. And this was one of the required films to watch and report on. And I had already seen it, but I was very happy to do so. And this has deleted scenes with optional director commentary, 2 separate audio commentaries, one with director Mary Harron, and one with writer Guinevere Turner. It's got a documentary featurette called The 80s Downtown, which talks about the 80s, especially the upscale yuppie Wall Street type that Patrick Bateman was, Christian Bale's character, who he was a Wall Street guy, young, upscale, upwardly mobile, a yuppie. And all his prick friends, and how much he hated them all, but how he took it, too far, in the sense that he wound up being a murderer, But a really great character study. A mainstream film, so sometimes they call it thriller, suspense, whatever, and that always happens when it's a mainstream film, like Silence of the Lambs. They don't want to call it horror. But when you have somebody eating somebody's brains, or in this case, somebody playing Phil Collins or Huey Lewis in the background while they chop some hooker up, that's horror. Like I mentioned, it's the unrated version from 2000, 102 minutes from Lionsgate. And I got this on Amazon as well for $4.99. So, keep your eyes out on those Amazon specials. Check once or twice a week for things you might have on your wish list. The prices fluctuate wildly. I've bought stuff on Amazon for $5, and I've looked 2 days later, and it was things of the same item is $15. So, that's what I do. I just keep my eyes open once or twice a week. I flip through my wish list, and if something has gone down to like $4 or $5, like South Park went down to $4 and this went down to $5, hell, I pick it up. Alright, and my lone Blue Underground pickup is the great Dead and Buried. This is a cult classic here from the disc is from 2009, and it was written by Ron Shusett and Dan O'Bannon. Those are the guys who wrote the original draft of Alien. Dan O'Bannon, of course, directed Return of the Living Dead. They went on to do many other great projects. Dan O'Bannon is no longer with us. He passed away. He had Crohn's disease, which I also suffer from. Stan Winston did the effects, was involved in the effects on this. Directed by Gary Sherman. The disc is in DTS HD 7.1 master audio, so it looks really nice and sounds really nice. Rated R. Let's see. There's three audio commentaries. One with the director Gary Sherman. My personal favorite commentary was with Ron Shusett and actress Linda Turley. I love Ron Shusett's commentaries. And the third was with the cinematographer Steve Poster. So 3 great commentaries on here. A few featurettes. Stan Winston's Dead and Buried special effects. One is an early work of horror. A nice 15-minute, approximately, I think, interview with Robert Englund, who made this pre-V. It wasn't just pre-Nightmare on Elm Street, but it was pre-V, which was a great a great pair of miniseries. And then finally, a featurette on Dan O'Bannon called Crafting Fear. So this is well worth it. James Farentino stars in this movie. Robert Englund, of course. Jack Albertson in his final feature role. Some of you may know Jack Albertson from his role in Chico and the Man with Freddie Prinze. Not Freddie Prinze Jr., but his father, who died way too young. Chico and the Man was a comedy in the vein of Sanford and Son and Welcome Back, Kotter, that kind of 70s comedy that unfortunately is not out on DVD except for like a 4 or 6 episode greatest hits thing. But Jack Albertson was a great old-time actor, and this was his final feature film. It's about like a fishing community where the residents kind of go apeshit, and it's just a great horror movie. Not quite a slasher, but definitely a thriller. There's suspense. There's a little bit of nudge humor in there. And, you know, Jack Albertson plays a crazy mortician. I don't want to give too much away, but this is definitely a great release from Blue Underground. And I picked it up for about $11. We see, this is, if you're grossed out by things being done to one's eyes. We see this huge needle there about to be poked into this poor sucker's eye. That is the grossest scene in the movie. Even though you really don't see much, it's what it implies. If you're squeamish about eyes, you might want to close your eyes during that particular scene. But I recommend this movie highly. So, great stuff. I'm having trouble finding... Oh yeah, 1981. I knew it was the early 80s, but I wasn't sure exactly. 1981, 2009 disc from Blue Underground. Okay, now we have 3 Scream Factories to round it out. I have the double feature of Bad Dreams and Visiting Hours. Another great Scream Factory double feature. There's some photos there. Here's the disc. And this is a pair of pretty cool movies. Bad Dreams stars Jennifer Rubin and Richard Lynch. Richard Lynch was the guy who was terribly burned. You'll see him in a lot of movies, but that helped him in this movie. Director Andrew Fleming, and it was produced by Gail Ann Hurd, who went on to marry James Cameron, which I talked about in another update review of a different movie. They've since been divorced, but she was his producer for many years. It's about a cult, and Jennifer Rubin is the surviving member of a cult. She wakes up from a coma. Everyone else kills themselves by burning themselves to death. And she sees this, after waking up from the coma, she sees this cult leader everywhere. And is she seeing him for real? Is she not? The special features on that, there's a commentary with writer-director Andrew Fleming. There's interviews with Jennifer Rubin and other actors, Bruce Abbott and Dean Cameron. There's a featurette, The Special Effects of Bad Dreams. There's a behind the scenes of Bad Dreams. The original ending. And a theatrical trailer. And then Visiting Hours stars another one of my favorites, Mr. William Shatner. Spock. Linda Pearl, who appeared in True Blood, is in this. Michael Ironside from Scanners and V and so many other great shows. RoboCop, I believe, one of the RoboCops. But Michael Ironside, Lee Grant, who won an Academy Award for Shampoo. I'm reading from the back, I admit, but she's an outspoken TV journalist. She has a crusade against domestic violence, which engages a creepy loner, which is Michael Ironside in a really good performance. She's attacked in her home. Childhood trauma comes to the forefront in Visiting Hours. And her boss, William Shatner, is a concerned boss, and he tries to protect her. And it's a pretty good movie. Not a lot of special features on this. Radio and TV spots. and an interview with screenwriter Brian Taggart, who has a lot of screenwriting credits and pops up a lot on these Scream Factory discs. Brian Taggart does. So this was pretty good. And then I have two with slipcases. I got Mad Max. I only spent $12.99 on this, brand new. And this is the original. I still have not seen the remake, revamp, whatever it is. But this is the original Mad Max, before the Road Warrior, before Thunderdome. There was the original Mad Max. Here's the reversible cover. Underneath, we see same back cover. Well, not now. Actually, there's two different photos on the back. Shouldn't say same. The photos are different. The reversible cover, I'm not going to take it out because it's just that. Mel Gibson, of course. There's new interviews with Mel Gibson, Joanne Samuel, and director of photography David Egby. There's an audio commentary by art director John Dowding, director of photography David Egby, and special effects artists Chris Murray and Tim Ridge. There's a featurette called Mel Gibson, The Birth of a Superstar. A featurette called Mad Max, The Film Phenomenon. Theatrical trailers, TV spots, and photo galleries. This is from 1980, 93 minutes. And what's kind of cool about this is it has the original Australian as well as the dubbed in English. Back when it was released with dubbed in American English performers, because the studio figured that they wouldn't, the crowds wouldn't be able to understand the Australian accent. So that soundtrack is included as well. The English, the American English dubbed in portions, as well as the original Australian soundtrack. Like, not just Mel Gibson, but all the Australian actors' voices were dubbed in by American or excuse me, American or Canadian or whatever, you know, recognizable, no accent voices. But both soundtracks are present. The original Australian, and of course there's subtitles, so you know, take your choice. This is another great release from Scream Factory, especially if you're caught up in Mad Max Fury Road Mania. And thanks again to Lylesburg 711 Chris for sending me that Nightbreed comic, and he sent me a couple bonuses. Really nice guy. I won his contest because he knows I'm such a Clive Barker fan, and I guess to further that point, I picked up Blu-ray, 2 Blu-rays, Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions. This is again based on a story from the Books of Blood, called The Last Illusion, featuring Harry D'Amour as played by Scott Bakula. Another great Scream Factory release. There's the back of the slipcover, there's the back of the case, there's the original cover, and there's the slipcover art. Scott Bakula is in this, as well as Famke Janssen. There's the inside. We get 2 Blu-rays, one with the theatrical and one with the director's, Clive Barker approved director's cut, much like Nightbreed. So disc 1 is the theatrical cut that we've all had on DVD, which I have on DVD, and disc 2 is the all-new high-definition transfer of Clive Barker's director's cut. A great commentary by Clive Barker, so this goes really well with your Nightbreed. This, Nightbreed, and Hellraiser are the only 3 movies Clive Barker directed. He, of course, wrote the short stories for many others, produced many others, but these were the 3 he directed. This was the last of the 3 from 1995. A featurette called The Gathering of Magic, original behind-the-scenes footage, deleted scenes, a new interview with storyboard artist Martin Mercer, and a photo gallery. From 1995, the theatrical cut is 109 minutes, and there's footage added. The director's cut is 12 minutes longer at 121 minutes. So, Lord of Illusions. another great Clive Barker movie where Harry D'Amour plays the supernatural detective, or detective of the supernatural, Harry D'Amour. D'Amour, D apostrophe A, D'Amour. D apostrophe AMOUR. Yeah, okay. And then I didn't even look because I just read, see my video on the Scarlet Gospels, the new Clive Barker book, which pits Harry D'Amour versus Pinhead with hell as the actual setting. Great book. I did a review and I got some positive feedback on that. I didn't think it was such a great review, but it's a wonderful book. So if you love to read, check it out. If you love Clive Barker, check it out. And if you love Clive Barker and you're not much of a reader, still check it out. Make it the one book you read all year. It's worth it. But Lord of Illusions was the first and last, I guess, on-screen appearance of Harry D'Amour. Maybe we'll make a film of the Scarlet Gospels. After reading the book, it certainly would make a good movie, I'll tell you that, especially for Hellraiser fans and fans of Clive Barker. In this movie, he's investigating, he's an LA-based detective. He's investigating illusionists, magicians, But he's thrust into a nightmare of murder, deception, and terrifying assaults from the dark beyond. Great Scream Factory pickup. So that's about it. Here they are here, the May Blu-ray pickups. Get a decent shot. Can actually hold these. I got Blu-ray. These are all Blu-rays, of course. South Park Season 17. South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. American Psycho, the Uncut version. From Blue Underground, Dead and Buried. James Farentino. Scream Factory's double feature of Bad Dreams and Visiting Hours. Scream Factory's Mad Max. And Scream Factory's Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions. So, 7 really good pickups. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice? That would be a good starter kit for anybody. You got comedy and horror and suspense and gore and laughter and the whole range of human emotion. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Pretty soon I'll be doing my June update. I don't want to give it away, but I have comedy. I have classic gangster films with Cagney and Bogart and a couple box sets there. I have Vincent Price. I have a Stephen King. I have William Lustig from Blue Underground. I have 3 Roger Corman cult classics. I have a really corny Shout Factory. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Scream Factories. So 16 titles. I think you'll really enjoy June coming up. I'll do that as soon as I have the time. But now I'm pretty much caught up. It is only July 1st. So thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching these. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for all your nice words. And more importantly, I hope you enjoy these movies. Even if you don't enjoy my videos, I hope you enjoy movies and TV shows like this. Go out and get them, rent them, buy them, just don't steal them. And enjoy. Alright, everybody take care, and I will see you later. Take it easy.